Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that Antarctica no longer exists as ice. Not melted slowly, not over centuries, but overnight. The coldest, most frozen place on Earth suddenly turns into liquid water. Antarctica holds 90% of all the ice on this planet. It is not just a continent, it is Earth's freezer, its pressure system, its climate stabilizer. If all that ice became water at once, the planet would not calmly adjust, it would snap. Beneath Antarctica's endless white surface is a hidden world humans have barely touched. Buried lakes sealed off for millions of years, canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon, rivers that have never seen sunlight, and microscopic life forms that evolved in total isolation long before modern humans ever existed. This frozen shield has kept those things locked away from the rest of the world. Until now. When the ice disappears, everything beneath it is released at once. Water rushes outward, sediment floods into the oceans, ancient microbes are carried into global water systems, the largest freshwater dump in Earth's history begins. And the first consequence is immediate. Sea levels rise by 70 meters. That is more than 200 feet. There is no warning siren loud enough for this, no evacuation plan big enough, no emergency response system capable of handling it. Entire coastlines vanish in hours. New York disappears beneath the Atlantic. London becomes a submerged ruin. Shanghai sinks into brown seawater. Mumbai floods from every direction. Venice is erased completely. Not damaged, not partially flooded, gone. Nearly 3 billion people live close enough to the ocean that they would lose their homes instantly. Highways become rivers, airports become seabeds, nuclear power plants sit underwater, freshwater reservoirs mix with salt, electrical grids collapse. Panic spreads faster than the water. Millions try to flee inland at the same time, but roads are broken, fuel supplies fail, food distribution systems collapse. This is not a disaster movie scene. This is physics. The Earth has never experienced this amount of fresh water entering the oceans all at once, and flooding is only the beginning. Because the oceans are not just water, they are engines. They move heat around the planet. They regulate storms. They control rainfall patterns and temperature zones. When that balance breaks, climate itself breaks with it. Cold currents weaken, cold currents surge, storms form where none existed before, droughts appear in places that once grew food. Some regions overheat, others suddenly freeze. The map of the world still looks the same from space, but life on it no longer works the same way. And while humanity struggles to survive the water and the weather, something else quietly enters the system. Life that has never touched the modern world. Microbes trapped under Antarctic ice for millions of years begin flowing into oceans, rivers, and eventually drinking supplies. Our immune systems have never encountered them, our medicines have never tested against them, our bodies have no history with them. This is not just environmental collapse, it is biological shock. To survive, humanity would have to do the impossible. Build massive inland cities at record speed, desalinate oceans for drinking water, protect soil from salt contamination, save crops from collapse, and race to invent new medicines faster than new diseases spread. Even if we succeed, the planet that remains is not the one we knew. It is hotter, more crowded, more unstable. Cold regions like Canada, Siberia, and Alaska become the new safe zones. Entire nations disappear beneath the sea. Coastlines are rewritten forever. Antarctica melting overnight would not just raise sea levels. It would rewrite where we live, what we drink, what we eat, and how Earth itself functions. And the scariest part? This is not science fiction. It is what physics says would happen if the ice vanished all at once. This is the story of a planet pushed past its limits and what comes next. Decades pass. A new generation is born into a world without coastlines. For them, the idea of beaches and seaside cities feels mythical. They grow up hearing stories of places that no longer exist. New York beneath the waves, London as a reef, Tokyo buried under salt water. Maps are rewritten, textbooks are rewritten, history itself is rewritten. Antarctica is no longer a frozen continent. It is now an open ocean surrounded by storms. Satellites show nothing but dark water where glaciers once stood kilometers thick. And with its disappearance, Earth's balance is permanently altered. The planet now absorbs far more solar energy. Temperatures rise even in places once considered untouchable by heat. The Arctic becomes green for the first time in human history. Forests grow where ice once ruled. Animals migrate into regions their ancestors never knew. But this new green world is fragile. Species vanish faster than they can adapt. Entire ecosystems collapse and reform in unstable ways. The oceans suffer the most. With the sudden flood of fresh water and ancient microbes, marine life never fully recovers. Coral reefs die, plankton populations crash, fish stocks collapse, the base of the food chain breaks, and when the bottom collapses, everything above it follows. Human diets change forever. Seafood becomes rare and dangerous. Farming shifts to sealed environments. Protein comes from labs and algae farms. Nature becomes something observed through glass. Humanity survives, but it no longer belongs to the Earth in the way it once did. Cities are sealed ecosystems. Weather is an enemy, not a background condition. Every storm is a threat. Every heat wave is an emergency. The planet feels hostile, not because it hates us, but because we changed it too quickly. And yet, something unexpected happens. As the old world sinks, new ideas rise. Borders matter less when survival depends on cooperation. Global science becomes humanity's nervous system. Information moves faster than fear. For the first time in history, humanity truly understands that it shares one planet. Not in theory, in desperation. Children are taught climate engineering alongside mathematics. Disaster response becomes a universal language. Engineers become as important as soldiers once were. War becomes too expensive, resources too fragile, failure too catastrophic. So survival replaces conquest. The greatest monuments are no longer towers or statues. They are systems, water systems, energy systems, food systems. Civilization becomes quieter, more careful, more aware of limits. And slowly, humanity adapts to its scarred home. But one question never disappears. What caused this? Not the melting, but the warning. Because Antarctica did not melt overnight in reality. This scenario is not fantasy. It is an extreme version of something already beginning. Ice sheets are shrinking, ocean levels are rising, microbes are waking. The difference between this story and our present is speed. Nature rarely destroys suddenly. It warns first, in inches, in degrees, in decades. Antarctica is Earth's memory. It holds records of ancient atmospheres, ancient viruses, ancient climates. And when it melts, it does not just release water, it releases history, things the modern world is not prepared to meet. If this ice vanished overnight, humanity would survive. But it would not be the same humanity. It would be smaller, more cautious, more crowded, more dependent on machines. The age of expansion would end, the age of endurance would begin. And the final truth is this: Antarctica is not just frozen land, it is a lock holding back oceans, a lock holding back time, a lock holding back consequences. If it opens too fast, the planet doesn't gently adjust, it reshapes civilization, where we live, what we eat, what we fear, what we remember. So when we ask, what would happen if all of Antarctica's ice melted overnight, the answer is not simply floods. It is transformation. It is loss. It is survival. It is a new Earth. And the frightening part is not that this could happen. The frightening part is that the process has already begun, slowly, quietly, one crack at a time. And whether humanity learns from that warning or waits until the ocean rises to our doors, is the story still being written.